Here's the uncomfortable truth. An AI without tools is often just a very confident guesser.
Exactly. And the leap from clever text generator to useful agent usually starts with one thing: tool use.
So when people hear AI agent, they imagine some big autonomous machine. But this is really about a model calling things outside itself, right?
Right. In an agent system, a tool is any external capability the model can invoke to get information or take an action. Search, a calculator, a database query, a calendar API, a code runner, even sending an email.
Which means the model stops pretending it knows everything and starts reaching for the right instrument.
That is the key shift. The model handles reasoning and language. The tool handles access to reality.
Give me a concrete case, because this is where programmers either get it or mentally file it under buzzwords.
Say, a user asks, "What is the weather in Tokyo right now? And should I delay my flight search until tomorrow?" A plain model can only guess. An agent can call a weather API, maybe a flight pricing API, compare current conditions and trends, then answer with evidence.
So the difference is not style. It is whether the answer is anchored to live data.
Yes, and that matters fast. If your app gives stale or fabricated answers while a competitor checks real systems, users notice immediately.
Okay, but how does an agent choose a tool instead of just blurting out text every time?
Usually, the system gives the model a set of tool definitions. Each tool has a name, a description, and parameters. The model looks at the user goal, decides whether it needs outside information or action, then selects a tool whose contract matches the task.
So almost like function calling with reasoning in front of it.
That is a good mental model. The agent is not magically discovering tools. It is choosing among allowed functions based on the prompt, context, and sometimes prior results.
And if it chooses badly, the whole thing can look smart while doing something dumb.
Exactly. Imagine the support agent asked, "Where is my order?" If it answers from training data, that is useless. If it calls your order status API with the customer ID, now it can return the shipping carrier, the latest scan, and whether a refund policy applies.
That is a power shift. The winner is not the app with the prettiest chatbot. It is the app wired into the systems that matter.
Yes, tool use turns language into interface. Once the model can reliably operate your APIs, your software becomes accessible through conversation.
But let's keep this grounded. The model still has to decide when not to use a tool too, right?
Absolutely. Good agents do not call search for basic concepts or hit an expensive API for trivia. They weigh cost, latency, and reliability. If the question is, explain what an HTTP header is, answer directly. If the question is, show my latest failed deploy, query the deployment system.
So tool choice is partly capability matching and partly economics.
That is a big part of engineering these systems. Every tool call has trade-offs: time, money, permissions, and failure modes. A smart agent is not the one that uses the most tools. It is the one that uses the right tool at the right moment.
Let's talk failure modes, because this is where toy demos collapse in production.
A classic one is bad arguments. The model picks the right API but fills the parameters wrong. Another is over-trusting search results. Another is calling a right action when it should ask for confirmation first.
Like booking the wrong meeting, charging the wrong card, or deleting the wrong record. Suddenly tool use stops sounding cute.
Right. Tools make agents more useful, but also more consequential. That is why guardrails matter. Schema validation, permission boundaries, retries, human confirmation for risky actions, and logs you can inspect.
Give me one more example that programmers can steal for their own apps.
A coding assistant inside your company. Without tools, it gives generic advice. With tools, it can search your internal docs, read the relevant repository files, run tests in a sandbox, and open a draft pull request. Same model, radically different usefulness.
And that is why some AI products feel magical while others feel fake. One can touch the real environment. The other is trapped in its own words.
Exactly. For programmers new to AI, the practical lesson is simple. Do not ask only what the model knows. Ask what the agent can do. what tools it can access, and how safely it can use them.
So the future is not one giant brain floating above your stack. It is models plugged into search, APIs, databases, and code paths with discipline.
Yes, the model gives language, tools give leverage, and in real software, leverage beats eloquence every time.